Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! My dad is 76. He's lived alone in the mountains for the last 20 years. And about 9 years ago, he got a dog. He's always been a terrible pet owner, but it's gotten worse over time. My dad has had at least one serious stroke in the last few years, and his physical and mental health have been in sharp decline, especially this year. A few weeks ago, my brother and I moved our dad off the mountain and into a senior apartment complex in the closest town, where it's easier for him to access his doctors. The complex is dog-friendly, but is really designed more for small dogs. Dog weighs 60 pounds. Dog isn't neutered. Never wore a collar, does not know any commands, gets territorial around food because he's never been fed on a set schedule, and has historically bolted when my dad took him to town because he's totally untrained. He's very good-natured and not a dumb dog, but he needs some work to be a city dog. This is where my brother and I intervened. We took Dog to my brother's apartment temporarily so we can take him to the vet for vaccines and a long overdue neuter. While we wait for those appointments, we are working on training him, walking him, socializing him, and so on. The more we try to help our dad, the more we are realizing he can't handle taking care of dog anymore. My brother is considering keeping the dog permanently, against dad's wishes. My dad is already pissed that we're keeping his dog from him. And we live about 3 hours away, so it's not like we can just pop over with a dog to visit. Even going on weekends to tend to dad is exhausting already. My dad and dog are honestly bonded very deeply, and I'm sure that having dog really helped keep my dad alive through some of his darker moments. But dad's going blind, and I just can't imagine a scenario in which he can actually give dog the care he needs. It also seems very likely that dog will run away the second he gets outside, and we might not be able to track him down again if that happens. We already had to take away my dad's car because he kept driving even though he's going blind. But somehow taking the dog feels like it might be cruel. So would I be in a wrong if we keep dog against my dad's wishes? And now for some comments. No one in a wrong here. Some ideas. Train the dog to use a gentle leader so he's a solid city dog walk dog. Hire a daily dog walker. There is a solid chance that there is a lively dog lover in the senior housing complex who might be able. Get the dog microchipped and get an ear tag for the dog's collar in case of the worst event. Try for 6 months and then you can re-evaluate. You are in a wrong. There are further options for solutions here. Training pup is a start. I live in the backwoods and I can't imagine, and I'm terrified, the day will come when I will have to leave my home. Your dad has lost his home and is losing his autonomy, is suffering mentally, and taking the pup away may be a breaking point for him. Get the dog trained. Maybe looking for someone close to your dad to help with the walks. Paying a teen or hiring a service. There are also options for mobile grooming or more. You have also mentioned you're already driving 3 hours to see your dad. Those visits you can also help with your pup. Please look for other solutions, as a pup may be a last lifeline for your dad. I, female 21, crashed my sister's female 28 car in the mall from work to home. I worked at the mall and asked my sister if I could use her car to go to work since she uses public transport when she goes to work. She said it's okay. Long story short, when leaving work from my parking space, someone decided to reverse out of their parking space without realizing I was behind them. I got really scared and swerved the car, realizing I was about to hit a pole. Tried to avoid that but ended up damaging the corner of her car. At that moment, I was shaken because 1. The guy that reversed out infuriated me. 2. Mad at myself, knowing I could have handled the situation better. And 3. That my sister was gonna beat me. There was no damage to their car, and there were no collisions between either car, so he wouldn't have been liable other than being an idiot. I cussed him out while he tried to apologize, then sat in the car for a good 20 minutes trying to figure out what to do. I called my dad and he told me just to come home, and I could tell her then while he tried to sort out how to pay for the damage using insurance. When she came home, we told her, but there wasn't much of a reaction, but that she kept talking to me as if I had done it intentionally. She would make slight comments throughout the rest of the evening that now because of me, she'd have to pay $500 plus $800 for the damages. We booked a trip with our cousins, and I offered to cancel the trip for myself so I could use my flight and accommodation money to pay her $800. My dad agreed he would pay $250 while she left to pay $250 herself. She then told me I was being stupid and providing stupid ideas. I had a birthday party. We planned on renting a couple of pieces of furniture. I offered to cancel that instead and have a different type of birthday party, but she told me again those were stupid ideas. I offered my savings, and she proceeded to tell me again that I was being stupid. I know I'm the jerk for crashing the car, but I'm trying to provide her solutions so that she wouldn't have to be financially burdened. But she's just trying to find excuses to make me feel bad. So I need advice for how to handle this situation now. Edit. I'm a part-timer and university student, so I work 2 to 3 times per week, getting paid minimum wage while my sister is a full-timer. Another edit. Initially, I wanted to pay the full $1,300, but she didn't want me to pay the full amount, nor did my dad, even though I tried to take full responsibility. Because I could afford the $800, I suggested to pay that to her now and pay off the other $500 later since I'm still trying to pay off the university papers. And now for some comments. Everybody sucks. The money should all fall on you to provide as it was your accident. Not sure why she should pay anything. But she also has to accept accidents happen, and you're trying. Probably best to revisit the conversation after she'd had time to calm down. She's probably just frustrated and annoyed, so give her some time to cool down. You are in the wrong if you expect her to pay anything to fix the car. You're not in the wrong if you pay to repair it. It sounds like you expect her to help pay because she makes more money. She's mad and is taking it out on you. You are in the wrong. You don't borrow other people's cars if you expect them to pay when you crash it. You need to find a way to pay for it. You're probably not an insured driver of that car, so next time, do not borrow it. Her insurance might have covered some of that. If she has insurance, pay up. I, 26 female, have been married to my husband, 24 male, for only about 5 months now. We're doing Thanksgiving at my parents' house this year. I'm a pretty good baker, and I told my husband how I was planning to make him bring a peach pie for my father's this year. Peach pie will be a little out of season. It's really more of a summer pie, but it's my dad's favorite, so I don't care if it will be a little out of place. I'm planning to make one anyway. When I told my husband this, he responded, "Well, as long as you're baking pies, you gotta make my favorite cherry." I told him no, as my aunt is always in charge of the fruit pies, and brings a cherry, apple, and blueberry, so his favorite will be there. He responded okay, but something tells me that her pies will be either baked from frozen or made with that canned pie filling. Why can't you make an actual fresh cherry pie while you're making a fresh peach pie? I told him that I don't want to upset my aunt, and also that just because I was doing something nice for my father doesn't mean that I owe him a similar favor. So he's been acting a little hurt about it. And now for some comments. You're not in the wrong. All of these posters suggesting you just go ahead and make him one for home anyway. Don't quite understand what goes into making a fresh pie. It's not like the time is cut in half just because you're already pie making. It's a lot of work. Have your husband observe you making the peach pie, then give him the recipe for the cherry one and tell him to have fun. I'm sure after he watches you for 19 minutes, he will lose interest, go watch football, and you won't have to deal with it anymore. You're not in the wrong. However, I would suggest baking a cherry pie for him before Thanksgiving. if he stops smoking. In my husband's family, there is a necklace passed down to the wife of the eldest son after she has their first child. My husband is his father's only biological son, but he has an older stepbrother who his father adopted. In the last few years, there has been tension between my husband and his stepbrother, mostly because his grandfather has pulled rank to make sure my husband gets his birthright. It's made things awkward for me as his stepbrother is married to my best friend. My best friend gave birth to their first child 7 months ago, and there has been non-stop drama over the necklace as technically it should have gone to her, and it was supposed to, until everybody found out I was pregnant too. The drama has hurt my relationship with my best friend, which is partly why I rejected the necklace when my father-in-law tried to give it to me. I knew my husband wanted me to accept it and he's upset I won't. It's causing even more drama with my in-laws because everybody is still fighting over the damn necklace. My husband told me if I had just accepted it, this would have been over, but now I'd hurt him and his family by rejecting it. Am I in a wrong here? And now for some comments. This seems like kind of an impossible situation where someone sees you as a jerk no matter what choice you make. My verdict is you're not in the wrong. They are the jerks for dragging you into this. You are not in the wrong. It's pretty clear that even if you accepted it, this would not be over. I'd say that the two wives need to tell the 3 men in the family that they need to come up with a plan that all 3 agree on. And if they can't, maybe it's just gifted in grandfather's will. Making the 2 of you scapegoats for their infighting isn't fair at all. I'm going to go with no one is in the wrong here. The people saying the adopted brother deserves a necklace are wrong. The moment OP's husband was born, the necklace was going to him. The tradition also started to go to the wife, so I'm going to go ahead and assume that OP's husband has a different mom than his stepbrother. That means her husband is their eldest son. It should go to OP, not her best friend. It's great that the father-in-law adopted the brother, but that doesn't mean he now gains a right to the necklace. It's your choice to accept the necklace or not. The father-in-law also has a choice of who to give it to. First off, let me apologize for any weird phrases or grammar mistakes in my post. English isn't my first language and I'm not that good with translating courtroom terms and words. I, 18 female, was raised by a single mom. My parents divorced when I was just 2 months old and my mom got full custody of me. So I never met my father. All I've ever really known about him is his name and the amount of child support money he transferred into my bank account each month. Now in my country, a non-custodial parent is obligated to pay child support up until their child turns 18. But this can be extended for a few more years on the condition that said child decided to pursue higher education or go to university. So as you can already guess, as soon as I turned 18, my father stopped paying child support. But when I graduated high school and got accepted into a university, I decided to use this extended child support law to my advantage. And I took him to court. Me and my mom weren't doing all that well financially, and I thought the extra money would definitely come in handy. The case took quite a few months to get resolved, and the courtroom was the first and last place where I saw my father in person. His reasoning for not wanting to continue paying child support after I turned 18 was that I didn't want to have any sort of relationship with him. So he didn't want to send money to a complete stranger each month anymore. He told the judge he'd agreed to continue paying child support on the condition that I agreed to get to know him and talk to him on a regular basis. But I declined. I mean, even if biologically he's my father, this man is nothing more than a stranger to me. I have no real interest in getting to know him and I never did. Wanting to have a relationship with him would be like wanting to have a relationship with a sperm donor who conceived you. I ended up winning the case, because the law is very clear on the fact that he has to pay child support for as long as I'm in university, regardless of whether I want to actually interact with him or not. Now he has to pay child support every month up until I graduate my university. We ended up getting in a huge argument as soon as the last court hearing was over, as he was really upset because I didn't even want to talk to him for a while and give him a chance, but still wanted to prey on his money. So, from a legal point of view, I'm in a right. But am I in a right from a moral point of view too? I should also add that my father never made any attempts to pursue a relationship with me while I was growing up, and neither did I. My mom never actively tried to get me to meet him, but at the same time she made it clear that she was always open to talk if I wanted to know more about him and ready to answer any questions that I might have had. Except that, well, I never really had any questions to ask her and was never really interested in him. She also never badmouthed my father and never tried to stop us from meeting each other, but neither of us ever made any sort of attempt to do so. I don't think he's a bad man, but I don't think he's a good man either. He's just a stranger who didn't want to be involved in my life. So I don't want to be involved in his life either. I don't resent him, I have no reason to. It's just plain old disinterest both on my part and his. And now for some comments. You're not in the wrong. You didn't ask to be born and you certainly didn't ask to have an absent father. You're the kid here. He has obligations, you do not. Good luck with school. You're not in the wrong. Law is clear. He had 18 years to build a relationship and declined. I've seen some men do this before. They don't want anything to do with the child, but once a child is grown, they want to connect and play the role of dad to someone that doesn't want or need it any longer. No, you're not in the wrong. He had his chance to connect with you. You're right. He's essentially a stranger to you. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.